What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You were listening. You were watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, my two friends. To my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
Yeah, we're back. Complex Con post-episode.
Yes. This is a little peek behind the curtain. We are recording this before Complex Con. If we do not get to something that happened at Complex Con, it's because it hasn't happened yet.
If a surprise sneaker drop happens, if a riot breaks out, if someone throws tomatoes at me on stage on Sneaker of the Year, we're not discussing that right now because we didn't know that it happened.
Exactly. That's the disclaimer. And to my left, Mr. Upscale Vandal.
You know what I'm saying? Marty McFly. We're doing this in the future.
Okay.
Back from the future.
There it is. We are in the future. So,
if someone threw a tomato at you on stage
It's
on
not
Sneaker
happening.
of the Year,
I'm here now.
what would the reaction
No
be?
tomatoes getting thrown at nobody on this panel. Y'all know, you know who's here now.
but
like,
also, you guys knowing me, do you think I would let that fly?
not
No.
happening.
Okay.
No.
That's all.
Enforcer. Nobody
all.
gonna hit you with a tomato either. Because they can't do, we on the podcast together. Whatever me and you, it don't matter. Against the world, it's the podcast.
That's it.
So trust me, ain't nobody throwing no tomatoes nowhere.
Absolutely. You heard it. Plus, all day will be front row. Try us.
Yeah, try
Okay?
it.
He will be front row. Okay? So, a lot to get to today. What do we have on the docket?
We're talking about the sneakers that didn't make the Sneaker of the Year list.
Yep.
Big Complex Con aura.
Yes. Pre-Complex Con
No,
episode
post.
that will run post-Complex
Post
Con.
Con.
Yeah, we're going to see, there's a bunch of 95s that didn't make the list. You have some sleepers for sure.
Yeah, definitely gonna talk about some Van stuff. Talk about some new silhouettes from Nike.
Okay, we'll see. I think it's fitting I'm wearing a wrinkled white T-shirt because the week after Complex Con, that's the zone that we're in.
I feel like you've been hit by a bus.
Oh, the Jimmy Butler meme in the playoffs. Remember, he's leaning
Yeah.
over. That's exactly what we would be doing. I will be in LA that week.
Feel a little washed after Complex Con?
A little bit. It's a very run and gun operation, but yes, this will be airing the week of Complex Con. So anything we didn't touch on, we will get to the week after.
Speaking of washed,
Careful.
so, well, this is in the future, but the other day from now, online, we saw a preview of a new colorway of the Pharrell Jellyfish, and I said that Adidas is already on its way to killing that silhouette.
Which I don't know if that's the truth. They're still moving. What colorway did you see? The red one?
The red ones.
Why would you feel that way?
Because you always have this point with like new sneakers that get released where there's the few colorways that everyone wants.
Yes.
There's the ones that draw the energy, and then there's like the brand's business model where we like need to just make this thing mass market at this point, right? So it gets like further away from the original like text.
I mean, I feel like I don't know, there's some sort of hate that you have.
There is no. I've literally have not hated on that shoe.
I think that
I feel like it
I
happens.
understand what he's saying in the sense of like, if we're already getting that quick to the rare colorway hype and whatever it be, or what's the next colorway, but the thing is that nobody got them. So
They're selling out.
Even the colorways that you see, it's not like you're walking Soho and everybody has Jellyfish. That's when you start panicking. Like once they're hype and then overly accessible and too many people got them, that's when
I just think the design language on that shoe caters much more to that like OG mesh runner with the white with the color pops on it versus like the all red is like it's like taking the Jordan 5 from the Chicago colorway and now you're just doing the crazy lifestyle GS colorways.
But maybe I don't think maybe they're not dropping. Maybe it's just Pharrell continuing to play like Willy Wonka and I'm just colors and rares and who knows? You might end up never seeing that pair and that's the one that everybody wants.
The all black. Do you think I'm going to be wearing the all black?
That's a big JOP shoe.
Is it?
Triple black Jellyfish?
I don't know. I feel like you are the triple black sneaker guy, but I feel like with that silhouette in the triple black, you're quickly like getting towards like
Fashion-y?
No, like Air Monarch 4E wide.
Nah.
Monarch? I don't know about
It's just the shoe's so chunky and triple
He
black.
just doesn't like it.
I've literally only said positive things about that shoe.
You've only said positive things, except that we're going to look at that one from 2025
Oh, yeah.
and said it didn't age well, which is like one of the most negative things that you could say.
I'm not saying it's not good in this moment, though.
Yeah, no, it's not. And it made the top 10 list that I'm sure everyone was super happy about, and everyone just listened to
Because
the
we know
top
the
10 list.
we know the reaction.
Oh, the reaction, I'm sure. Listen, let's thank everyone. Thank you so much for agreeing with
Yeah.
every single shoe on our top 10, and
Yeah.
there was no debate on stage. So just a little look into the future.
If you had to guess, you know, because obviously we don't know at this point, but before you go on stage at Sneaker of the Year, what would you say in your mind is like people are going to agree with 7 out of the 10 or 8 out of the 10? In your mind, how do you feel like it's going to go before you get up there? Because I know you probably play those scenarios through in your head.
I would say like anything. The funny thing about that list is 10 to 6 is usually the most debated.
Yeah, unless there's like a choice where people don't agree with that's so high up on the
Yeah,
list.
but I don't think this year is going to go like that. But I think 10 to 6 will be highly debated. I think that we debated even.
I feel like
the
last
first
year
spots.
the problem was that like there wasn't like a lot of consensus like top 10 shoes. Like everyone's top 10 was everywhere. So it's like when we got to the top 10 and like obviously I feel like when we do the complex list, it has to be like more representative of like a pop cultural cross-pollination thing
A
instead
wider
of
lens.
yeah, instead of just like being super niche and we're like these are our 10 personal favorite
Right,
shoes. You have
right.
to like consider it from many angles. And I feel like last year we put the Bread Reimagined 4 really high on the list because it was such a big shoe, but there was like no other consensus like top 3 sneakers of the year besides the AE1. You know, we like to show everyone sneakers that haven't come out yet. Oh,
See. Oh.
we have these. Obviously, not to beat the Complex Con thing to death, but these did drop originally. No,
Last
last
year?
year at
Yes.
Complex Con.
Yes.
The Nike Air Max 1000, designed in collaboration with Zellerfeld. They do the 3D printing shoes. This is the lilac colorway.
Nice one. Let me see.
Crazy. See, like,
Right.
this is what I was talking about when I said
You're the GR King?
yes,
Okay.
and the fact that Nike and brands, if we push them to a standard and we don't just accept whatever, we don't need to get a million retros and colorways of things that we already have.
Do you-
This
you
is
like
the type.
these?
Yeah, like when I first saw these at Complex Con, I said like this is the innovation that we should be looking towards, right? 3D printed shoes has been a thing for the last few years.
Never really hit. Like they've tried it a lot across multiple brands.
Yeah, Adidas has gone hard at
Yeah.
it. Nike's gone hard at it. Like a lot of brands are trying to figure that model out. It hasn't worked. This is by far the best iteration. Why aren't we getting more marketing, more push, more seeding for these type of silhouettes and this type of innovation instead of beating a dead horse and going back and recoloring what we see? That's always my fight, is like pushing the companies to evolve and, you know, just create something special that invigorates the next gen, just like the shoes that we love now and protect and get retroed. We loved them when they first came out, and nobody like. When was the last time you walked in somewhere and saw something new that were like, oh my god, like a new silhouette?
Well, I think Adidas did it this year with the
Jellyfish.
No, not that. I'm talking like true innovation. So there's like I feel like there's two innovations like two-pronged where there's just like design for the sake of design. Like the Pharrell shoe is one of the biggest shoes of this year, but it's not an innovative shoe in the sense
Correct.
that like they're solving a new problem,
yeah.
right? This is a shoe where they're solving a manufacturing
Yep.
issue, even though the shoe itself isn't like a performance evolution of anything.
Right.
It's just a lifestyle sneaker.
Right.
But yeah, but that Adidas Evo SL performance running shoe, I feel like you saw those
Yes, a
everywhere.
lot.
Pharrell also did a collaboration on that, or I think he did that one or the just like a more performance version. Sorry, I always mix the two up. But
People love to run in that Adidas.
You see that all the time,
That
the white
looks
and
like
black
the
ones.
the marathon shoe. Or
So is that the two-prong you're saying, is like that's some performance based?
well, there's like performance evolution, and then there's like new evolution where it's just like
Lifestyle evolution, where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a fabric or a makeup or one
just
body
or just a
silhouette.
design or like
Yeah.
a Yeezy 350,
Yeah.
right? So it's like that's like a new evolution of like a lifestyle.
Yeah, I
shoe.
think that's where we should be focusing our efforts and like the push. Obviously, like retroing and going back to old silhouettes is always going to work, and the nostalgia of the culture. You know, sneaker culture is only what 30 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So seeing that's 3 generations and seeing these generations already regurgitate so much of what we fell in love with, I personally want to see new excitement around this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And like, I think that with all the money, time, marketing that they spend on pushing another colorway or a retro of something that we've already seen, this is where that could go, because it's obviously it could work. The shoe is hot, the shoe is fire. We've seen 3 colorways of that in 2 years. Come on, like, show me a high top. Show me
but
another
do you
silhouette.
want, like we just talked about the Pharrell thing? Do you want to see a shoe get rinsed in a million colorways, or are you like, you want it to feel like not super limited, but you want there to be like, hey, I don't go into the store and there's 17 colorways of the shoe.
Probably a happy medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Happy medium is, like it used to be. Back
How many
then,
times
like,
does that happen with a new model where you get so hyped on the new model, then you go into the local retailer and now there's like 14 colorways of it and you're like, on to the next one.
But remember when colorways also meant something in segmentation? Like, my favorite shoe of all time, people know this, like the shoe that got me started was the Nike Air Pillar TN. It was the first shoe I ever got that was like coveted, that I got with my own bread. At that time, the neon and gray colorway was the general release.
There's the Michigan one.
Then they had the Michigan one. Then they had the LE one, which at that time, was the exclusive. It was the black and baby blue. And then there was a girl's colorway that was white and lava red and whatnot. Segmentation. And there's nothing more I wanted in my life than to get that girl's colorway. Could never get them. There was nothing more I wanted once I got the Michigans to get, it just added to the lore of why storytelling in shoes is important. Now, you go, the Pillars, when they re-released, they dropped them in 48 colorways, so they just look cheap. Foot Locker did not understand the stories, did not understand why they chose those colors. Did it make sense with the original reason for the shoe existing?
The one that sticks out to me, another Nike basketball, is the Up-Tempo one. Like G-Dragon was wearing it, and like I went back on eBay and found a pair in my size, and then they released like the regular colorway, which I loved. I got
and you went and bought
pairs.
like 4 pairs?
Yeah, I bought a lot of pairs.
They only dropped at Foot Locker, and you go to New York City.
Multiple pairs of the black and white suede, and then there was so many different colorways. That one always sticks out as like, oh man, like this was such like a coveted thing back then. Then like, you see G-Dragon wearing them at the airport. Then I like the regular release, of course, awesome. And then feels like
diluted by
there was
Foot
a
Locker
lot.
colorways.
There was a lot of colorways.
One sneaker moment that I feel like I've come full circle on recently and want to get like maybe your guys' take on it. So we have a list coming up. Don't want to put it out there too much because that isn't out yet. But I feel like I've come to the point recently where I feel like Nike Shox were one of the most important sneakers of our lifetime. And I hate to like
hate Shox.
I did. There was a whole point in my whole life where I hated Nike Shox so much, just like working at Dick's Sporting Goods and it being like the ultimate like frat bro shoe.
Yeah.
At that point, but I feel like I finally come back if I look past on like the century of sneakers that I grew up on. Nike Shox were like one of the most pivotal shoes.
Well,
we want to talk about innovation and new stuff.
I mean, the ad campaign, we were working retail back then. The campaign, I just remember like the displays, and it was such a thing. It was like product porn. People walking by the store in the mall, like, what is it? And then I remember the neon and blue boxes all in the stock room. I remember selling a ton.
Oh, those neon and blue boxes.
The neon and blue boxes. Like that was something that I just there's boxes like that they
stick in your mind.
Yes, because we were moving crazy amounts of them. But I think now in 2025, why you feel that way is you could look at a Shox TL and a Shox R4, and you could look whether it's man or woman. To me, every single fit or 90% of the fits look great with Shox.
I just think we look back on it and we're like, how many times we're talking about this, like brands try to reinvent the wheel and come up with something new, and whether Shox were like good or bad running shoes, they're probably like really bad running shoes. But the thing is that how many of the new technologies that brands try to release actually like permeate and break
But that's
through
the reason why they don't
become
permeate is because they don't do it for the purpose of embedding a new story or a new narrative about what Nike's doing with that shoe. For example, the reason the Shox were that crazy and that pivotal is because everything you guys just named were like extensions of it, design language in the box, the players that wore in them, the celebrities that liked them, who was getting seated at the time. All of that adds to the lore of why that moment, not just the shoe was the catalyst, but like the moment overall in sneakers, whatever the silhouette was that was driving it at that time. Now, for example, going back, we're talking new tech. If they were to do something like that, with this tech, right? Like, look at that box. 1,000 Air Max. I mean,
You
Air
wish they
Max
did something special with the box.
I mean, just in general, the boxes, the colorways. Look at all of the details about being a sneaker aficionado that you guys remember, all the way back to working your retail days. The boxes. People don't give a shit about boxes anymore.
Yeah.
It's not a part of the moment that they discovered the shoe. And yes, packaging is a big thing, but is it a part of the overall moment? Same thing with styling them. I think Shox caught the resurgence and cemented it because all of the designers who have used them for high fashion stuff, like
Martine Rose.
Martine Rose, and there's some other ones, right? There's at least 2 other Shox that are
They have
considered.
those like T90s that are Shox now
Yeah.
for women.
Right.
Supreme did the Shox.
Yeah.
Right. So these collaborations have now kind of paid homage to the moment it was at the original release time and saying, hey, we all kind of were inspired by that. What in these new technology drops can say like that kids are like, oh,
Did you have Shox back in the day?
I actually never really liked Shox. I respected them. I respect the movement. I know how fire they are. I think they're fire. They just don't look good. Again, going back to like the Jordan 11s.
Yeah.
They don't look good on me, so I can't wear them.
So you didn't try to put them on.
Nah,
foot?
I had the Vince Carter ones
And that
just because
was
I had them. But
I was going to say the Vince Carter. People consider the Vince Carter Shox like a top 10 Nike basketball shoe.
yeah, for sure.
And even though the technology, you were
Yeah.
split on it, but like and even past Vince Carter, I remember like UConn was wearing them when I was there. Like Shox were like a really big team shoe, both in like college and the NBA. So
Did you have a pair back in the day at all?
I didn't, but I moved a lot of them at Finish Line.
But you
A
like
lot.
wore the R4s though, like recently.
Okay, why don't you give me credit like Salehi did? I brought out the R4s.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I hate it at all.
Hold on. Before, like, the 2024, 2025, I was early on the R4s.
Ahead of the curve.
And I feel like you and Dunn were like, R4s. And I was like, Uncle Dom had them before half the influencers were wearing them.
Yeah, Uncle Dom made them what they were.
Exactly.
Though. That's
exactly.
what I'm trying to
Him
say.
and Uncle Dom have similar genes, too, which, you take that for what it is. But R4s, I brought back, what would you say? We'll check, maybe 2022, 2023. I'm not saying I brought back.
You did.
But, like, I was wearing them.
But again,
early.
that's what makes our little world special, is that you said, okay, I remember how influential the shoe was.
Yes.
I was moving a ton of them.
Yep.
The Vince Carter era in basketball. Let me see if I can pop these back out now and bring some of that nostalgic aura. You
Yep.
know, a little neck breaker
Yep.
action. The young kid's not gonna know what it is. The OGs is gonna respect you for wearing it, and you tried it ahead. Other people probably wasn't like. Then Martine Rose puts them on a runway. All of a sudden,
those went-
Shox is the thing.
Kendrick wears them on.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is what I say. I just feel like sneakers is missing innovation. It's missing new silhouettes, and it's missing excitement and storytelling around the, experience of buying or collecting shoes.
And we talk about Shox being like out of the ordinary. Another sponsored episode by Espelon Tequila. I see it right out of my right peripheral. And they don't do ordinary, so we're going to talk about, again, another sneaker that's out of the ordinary that we love. What do you have? We'll go to you first since you forgot it last week, but you came back to it.
Hey, so the one shoe that out of the ordinary that I wish that I could always wear, and I feel like my feet are just too big to get it off, is the Air Rift.
Good one.
I feel like I see people
would look
wear that and
weird
it
on
looks
you.
so cool, but I know if I throw it on,
Same with me, but
Yeah.
women.
have you tried, Joe?
No. But I have the Halle Berry ones. During a pandemic, I went back and bought those.
That like
The
OG
artist
like
series.
Kenya colorway,
Yeah.
the black green with the red and white.
Yep.
Like, I wish I could wear those, but it's just, I know I'm gonna look crazy.
Right.
It's funny you say that. These are what I bought
Yeah, the Holly Berry.
shortly after
Yep.
when I bought the Pharrell Dunks. It was part of the same artist series, yes? Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. Air Rifts, though,
Wasn't there a Sarah Jessica Parker Shock in there too?
Presto.
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 Which
okay.
I have people hit me up like, hey, this one became available, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't my size or it sold out. I wanted to get all that artist series. But, okay, Mike, what do you have for yours?
Obviously, I'm always gonna try to go out of the ordinary, and there's a lot of shoes I've put on that get a lot of eye breaks and head breaks. But one shoe I always bring out that people always just definitely like have to come up and ask is the Converse Missoni Auckland Racer is one. Every time I bring that shoe out, people are like, don't know if I have like a carpet wrapped on my feet or what. It's just always breaks necks. It's a great material play, comfortable shoe. Up Matt Welty's.
That's a good one. I've seen you in that shoe before. Real quick, Missoni, man. Does anyone remember 2011 Missoni Target?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So, Missoni Target, I was dating someone who was like into the collaboration. I stayed home from Complex that morning, or I was at late arrival. Base your Target. Not many people like knew the significance of it, right?
Brought some plates.
So there was like tons of stuff, blankets and all this stuff. When I tell you it was like supermarket sweep in that bitch, I was getting everything.
You were the first.
First
you
one.
were the first time reselling.
No reselling. Just like
Just
no.
snatching.
She wanted. I was like, get whatever we get, and it was like item after item after item. So Missoni always reminds me of that special day. Relationship didn't make it, but hopefully the item still item still remains somewhere. For me though. Out of the Ordinary shoe has not been back in decades. I'm going to say the Nike Air Zoom Citizen. Come on, bring it back.
I'm not even familiar.
This is the shoe that I always ask Nike to bring back and let me work on it. It's part of the Alpha project.
Okay. Oh, okay. What's it called? The Citizen? I didn't know.
Nike
that
Air
was called
Zoom. Yeah, Nike Air Zoom
That's a good
Citizen.
one.
I love the.
That's a good one. No. That's a.
You know,
That's a good
so
one.
that's one that if I had to chop it up over an Espolon tequila drink on the rocks, and we were talking about Out of the Ordinary, it would be the Nike Air Zoom Citizen.
On the rocks?
What, neat?
I've been doing the Espolon margaritas recently.
Okay. All right, so listen, we talked about shoes that we felt that we like are out of the ordinary, but what's on feet? Mike, what do we got?
These actually, shout out to my man Trayvon Edwards from JD. He had got me the V5s, R&Rs, the orange ones early. You know, I kind of felt they were like in that Vomero nostalgia. I had been heavy on my Vomeros.
A lot of people compare the two.
Yeah, I've been heavy on my Vomeros, so went to JD actually to pick these up over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So it's the black colorway. I'm also wearing Birth of a Royal Child, available at Complex Shop.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Super, super crispy. Chrome Hearts top.
Okay.
Light.
Mr. Matt Welty.
Shout out Derek and the good folks at Sneaker Politics.
Yes.
This is their latest collaboration with Asics, the K1001, I believe, or 1011. I don't know what the, but yeah.
All right. I am doing the Nike SB Air Max 95.
Should have been on Sneaker of the Year list.
Oh, I
Definitely
love this
not.
shoe. This is Noah Callahan Bever's Sneaker of the Year.
Wow. I mean, it would be.
I think
What does that mean?
I think I even said when that shoe came out, I was like Sneaker of the Year, maybe, or something like
His
that.
Sneaker of the Year list is comprised of like 3 shoes. He's not looking at 20 shoes to pick from.
He loves these. But, yeah, so I'm doing the Nike Air Max 95 SB. You know, the people were shocked because it's like a whiter shoe than I
Yes.
usually wear. But, you know,
If they get JLP to wear a white Air Max, they're doing something.
and I like that you could get these dirty, beat up. I didn't do any ollies in them. Don't sue me, okay? Drewski meme. But I have been wearing them a lot.
I'm not gonna lie. The white with the denim white is giving
Come
me.
on now.
It's giving me early 2000s on you.
Boys
I think
still
the
got it?
colorway is just nice because it's distinct, right? Like where it's like you did the SB4s. If you want to talk about innovation on shoes, re-engineered the 4 to make it more comfortable, not your feet fall off like we talked about with the cave stones. But this one, they made it. It's like obviously a 95, not the best skating shoe choice. Although, you know, you had people like Eric Costin and Stevie Williams. I know there was a lot of debate. Kareem Campbell about the first people to wear the Air Max 95 in skateboarding. But yeah, the shoe got re-engineered. It's like a little flatter in the forefoot. It doesn't have as much of like a toe spring on it. The shoe feels a little more firm. I know we had the big bubble this year. These obviously don't have a big bubble on them because
It also got that like rigid textured outsole. right?
Yep.
Good shoe. And that brings us to our topic. A week
Removed.
removed from Complex Con. These did not make the top 10 list. These are in a bunch of people's top 10.
Yeah.
So this topic for this week, what shoes in no particular order
Yep.
could have made or could have cracked
The bubbles, the bubble teams.
Exactly.
The bubble shoes, yeah.
the big bubbles? Which shoes could have cracked our top 10 list?
I feel like it was tough this year, especially referencing this shoe. There was so much Air Max 95s this year.
Yes, and there's even some on the list that we're going to get to that I
And
feel
it's like, how many Air Max 95s can make the list? Where it's like we have neons on the list, right? Levi's made the list. But do Yu-Gi-Oh 95s make the list?
Yes, there's a lot of 95s, and maybe let's get those out of the way.
Yeah.
The ones that maybe could have made the top 10 or cracked the top 10. Yu-Gi-Oh Air Max 95. That would have been on my top 10.
Really?
I think so.
What would you have taken off of the top 10 to put the Yu-Gi-Oh 95s on it?
You asked what I would take off the list. I
Yeah.
think we get into that conversation of kind of like personal choice.
Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of, if I thought this one was going to make the list that didn't make it, the Yu-Gi-Oh, one of my favorite projects of the year, and I like the blue.
Big Yu-Gi-Oh guy right here?
No, respectfully, but I do like that Air Max 95. I especially like the hints, if we're nerding out on sneakers, like the tongue, the blue with the neon tongue. But I do realize, like, Cortez 95, I wear that all the time. But if I had to take one off, the one that I probably, even though I do like it, but top 10, probably the SGA.
Nah, you can't take the SGA.
It's
off.
we had it at 10.
Yeah, but it should have been there. It's a Converse basketball shoe from a new gen basketball player that made waves. Like, that's impact worthy.
I'm just saying.
Can't take it off for a 95.
Okay, but could we have taken it off for?
Do you think there should be 3 95s on the list? On the
No,
top
that's
10?
why I said it's
No.
a personal choice, and why.
Would you have taken the Levi's off for Yu-Gi-Oh?
No,
Hell no.
no,
Would you take neons off for Yu-Gi-Oh?
no.
Maybe.
Really?
Maybe because, like, again, what we've talked about the episode before, just like retros, we're still putting a retro OG colorway.
Do you have SGA in your top 10?
Damn, Welty.
We also
got
should
to.
preface this that it may be in the top 11, top 12,
Yeah.
but just
Dude, that one's like tough for me because it's
That's
like
the toughest
no,
one
I
for
should
me.
have like every reason to be biased about that shoe because like was there at the release in Toronto and I saw like
The reality of the impact, like
yeah, but it's also but that's also skewed too because it's a
He was there- they were
it's
fans.
he's in his hometown and it's like one of the biggest basketball players in the NBA, so it's like of course that's gonna be a big thing anywhere you do that. I mean there was 800 people camped out for the Tyrese Halliburton ones in Indiana. So
right.
I don't.
See, the thing about the SGA again is it's new. And like when
Yeah.
you can make, look how many celebrities are wearing his shoe elsewhere. Didn't we
I
just see
haven't seen it that
Justin
much.
Bieber? Yeah, we just saw Justin
you're
Bieber
right.
in them. We just
Balling
saw
in that.
Wale
You're right.
in them. We just saw.
You're right.
We see a lot of other celebs just in
right.
kind of different spots in them, and they're kind of breaking ground again amongst fashion kids too. Like I see a couple little fashion influencers got seated in them. To me, I just like that nuance of a basketball player having a signature shoe that doesn't look, like we said last episode, cartoon-esque or
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles-esque, and you
Yeah.
know, all colorful. It's tasteful. It's a new silhouette, and I just feel like you have to put that on the board of impact when it comes to sneakers because it's very hard to come out with something new and get people to accept it.
do you think it should have been higher than 10, or 10 is the perfect spot for it?
I think 10 is cool.
I think
Okay.
the tough part with Yu-Gi-Oh for me is that it's one of the most thoughtful sneakers of the year. You took the moment from the manga where they're wearing the Air Max 95s, the Air Muscle, and you made that shoe real life. So that's super cool. Even if I'm not into someone who's into Yu-Gi-Oh, just doing that and referencing it and making it a reality is like the literal definition of storytelling within sneakers. So many times we see brands and retailers get licensing to old nostalgic things. You'll get a G.I. Joe New Balance, but it has no connection
Yeah,
to...
they just plaster the logo or the colorway on a shoe.
This isn't that. You know, it's like if you can get Joe La Puma to buy into a Yu-Gi-Oh sneaker, and I guarantee you Joe La Puma is the furthest person from Yu-Gi-Oh there is on the planet, then you've done something right. But I think the problem is...
Shouts to Madison and the dot swoosh team.
I think the problem with that shoe is that the storytelling was so great, but then when I saw it in hand,
You didn't like it, right?
the shoe didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah.
You had the mesh on it. It was made to look like it was a cartoon, and I get that. You have the mesh, and you remove the mesh and make it pleather, and it looks like a painted on shoe, which it looks like the cartoon, but that's cool. I don't want to wear it.
Moving on, another one that I would have had on my top 10 that didn't make it, and I look at these when I first saw them, they look great, even beat up more,
What?
look better. The New Balance 990 V6 Action Bronson.
Which, oh, the Amazonia ones?
Yeah, see, I like these better than the 992 Action Bronson, which we also have listed here.
Yeah.
Which one do you like better?
I like these better, but I can understand why.
Better than these, right?
Oh, not that colorway. I
No,
thought we
but
were talking about that.
these two, out of these
No,
two.
but I like that boot colorway one better.
This?
Yes.
Oh, so I
Yeah.
like the 990 better than the 992.
I feel, to me, it's like the 990 V6 is like a more wearable silhouette,
Okay.
more comfortable. Not that the 992 isn't, but it's like a clunkier shoe. I think the 992 looks better, but I like the 990 V6 more personally.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at on that one.
Okay.
But good year for Bronson.
Yeah. Right there. This would be like the first year in a minute he didn't make the top 10, right?
Yeah.
But, okay, so those are two other shoes. We had on our bubble Adidas AE2. I think it's a little too early for
Yeah, I
that.
just think it's too early.
I think, will we say from like a press and rollout perspective, he's done similar to SGA or SGA has done more? I feel like SGA has done more. You know, AE
I feel like
did
AE hasn't really done much rollout.
I think it's
Did the
slow.
China
I think
trip?
it's like a slow start right now.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to get the groundswell going, and I think that just doing that, to be honest, to me, he's gonna outshine SGA at the end of it because the groundswell is allowing the sneaker kids who do get fly to make their own interpretations first, leave their first impressions, set a standard for how cool it looks, then the seeding starts and the bigger rollout starts, and I think they could kind of tailor it around that.
And on court, we're going to see on court what people are talking
Yeah.
about when like the season
And
actually
I think
hits.
I think SGA had, even though it was more of a, pre-manufactured buzz behind it, which all these things are. They're sneaker multi-billion-dollar marketing companies, right? So he has the drop in Toronto at Kith. He's serving people his flavor of the Kith treats. He checks out his cousin, Nikel. Then he goes to Fallon, shows up with the shoes on the desk. Fallon comes out in the SGA fit.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
he was supposed to go be on
stream?
Kai's stream
Yep.
that night, but it rained and they couldn't fly out to do it. So
Right.
he had this massive rollout plan for the shoe. And kudos to Converse for doing that because it's a Converse basketball. Like you're saying, it's a Converse basketball sneaker. The A1 was here as a sneaker of the year last
Yes.
year. A2, people hated that shoe when they first saw it. And it's like, when we got previewed that shoe at someone who worked at Adidas PLM came in and showed us the sneaker early, and I remember seeing it in the hand and being like, it's okay. Like it does what it's supposed to do. Like it's interesting. It's completely different.
Solid follow-up.
They accidentally leak it on an Adidas earnings call or whatever. There's like the toe of the shoe, and everyone just sees that triangular shape, and everyone's like, we need to cancel this shoe. Adidas is ruining Anthony Edwards. They're doing what they did to Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan and Dwight Howard and all of that in the past.
Which is not true. Yeah.
But that was like the reaction online. And then you see the shoe in person and you're like, not so bad. Our
Shit's fire.
coworker Douglas had him on feet.
Yeah, got the fit off,
Got
right?
the fit off with it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel that I don't know if it's manufactured, but like we were saying, yeah, it is manufactured. Rollout that SGA had, I think that's coming for AE. And I think that he's planting little seeds now with like the awards.
He was in China.
Yes.
He was in China.
The awards a
but
couple
he was
weeks
just doing
ago.
the
Yep.
awards. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like in a couple weeks or a month or so, the awards get followed up with a seating shoe in a gold or whatever. Like, he's gonna send Timothy Chalamet.
He got White Boy of the Year. Right?
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet got White Boy of the Year. He might get a pair of A's seated. You might see him.
Triple white.
Exactly. Like, you never know what's coming with. They might be using this as just, again, groundswell. And I think that's a way better approach for what he's
organic.
done. It's more organic, especially for who he is.
Yeah.
He's very, like, off the cuff, raw. You know, you see the digs he's taking at the other brand's ads versus his. So he might be doing that now. This might be a part of his rollout, and we're just letting it kind of seem like it's groundswell, but it is going to be a part of the bigger plan.
I think it's nice too because I mean, we spoke about this last year. Was that the ads were originally groundbreaking when they first came out, the AE ones, but it's almost like they beat a dead horse by the end of it, and you're like, another AE ad, another. It's like you probably only needed like 2 or 3 of them, and you did a little bit more than that, or it's like, okay, you don't need to like take a shot at everyone in every single ad. Like,
but you got to understand, it's really hard to get a good campaign off.
And they did well.
No, for sure. And I'm not saying that they
I
weren't.
agree. It was like the same thing.
Yeah, it got
over
repetitive,
and over.
but that's like that comes from success. Like, you know, you become a victim of your success when the brand's like, oh, we haven't had an ad campaign be this slick and get this much attention. Let's try to run it back. I guarantee you that they learned from that mistake.
And they're like, let's be a little more subtle.
And let's be more subtle. Let the world do what it do. Let it be more like AE, which is flow naturally, off the cuff. And I think that there's going to be a tightened marketing rollout closer to release, and I bet you it's a lot slicker and a lot more engaging than some of the other stuff we've seen, maybe even from SGA.
I know it's like a different era, but like you had like the only other way to really compare it is with the AE style was like the original like kind of Mars Blackman Jordan ones.
Right.
With the ads.
But you'd only get like one Mars Blackman commercial per Jordan model, and you know, and there's like the 4, 5, 6 and all that, but I just felt like, yeah, I mean, I know different times, but it was just like, man, we don't need like 6, you know, we don't need 6 ones of you taking shots.
We'll see how we feel middle of the year and end of the year with AE2.
Do you feel like it's a shoe you could wear, Joe? I know you said maybe SGA's not for you, but
I don't think so.
AE2, no?
No.
Triple black?
I don't think so. I don't
I feel like that shoe doesn't play well in triple black.
I don't see myself wearing that, but not saying that it's not a good shoe. One I want to bring up, I feel like this is a big Upscale Vandal shoe. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So you got these?
I got the red ones
Okay.
from Politics. I'm waiting on.
I already knew you were talking. I already knew what that
course.
before you even showed it.
The Chanel-inspired Vans Premium Old School 36 Souvenir. Had the city going.
Listen,
nuts.
I just want to also make sure we put on the record that we talked about Vans off the record, and neither of you wear Vans or wear
Haven't in a while.
Vans.
I think the feature all suede ones, that the Casino Vegas one was the last one.
Oh,
I think I
the
remember
velvet
giving
ones.
you. I think I remember giving
Yes,
you a
The
pair
velvet
of.
ones. Sinners Club. That's
Yeah,
what that package
yes.
was called.
I think I gave you a pair of like End Clothing ones that were like a black and white checker, like a. Like
I wore
like
those a bunch.
A houndstooth.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
The
on
Vegas,
sneaker shopping, yeah.
the feature ones, but a lot of people love these, and I would say that this was probably the most energy for a single sneaker Vans has had in a while.
For sure.
This Chanel-inspired Vans.
And they're on a run with it now because now they got the Valentino one. Valentino one also got crazy hype. There's another one. Is a designer named Matthias Golan.
Yes.
Yeah, he has, you know, he had a great run. Is doing a whole run with Vans. Like I said, Valentino, the Chanel inspired ones. They had 2 colorways. I got the red ones from Politics. Shout out Derek Curry. You know, I think that just as somebody who wears every brand and tries to, you know, just kind of looks at sneakers as a whole, when these type of projects kind of come to life, it's almost like a little Easter egg thing. And if you know, you know thing. And to me, those are always the coolest collabs because obviously we know it's not an official Chanel collab and it's inspired by such a specific bag.
Yes.
You know, it's not like every Chanel person knows what that is or any person who's, and even people who fuck with designer don't even necessarily know that particular collection. And then for them to do the 2 colorways and
Does
bring it
this
out.
make your 10 though?
Yeah. For
This was
year?
in your 10.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that again, those the Satoshis, you know, the Mateus ones, like it's for a brand like Vans who just has, you know, 5 silhouettes, 4
Staples,
silhouettes
yep.
that everybody recognizes. For them to make a product like this that everybody's clamoring over, it's a feat.
And not all end all be all, but the resale value in my size 11.5, $628. Size 11, $1,000 Vans.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Do think it's like these were a moment and you know all of that, but I think the only reason why it's like a shoe like this doesn't make the list is that just the overall perspective of like sneakerheads debating. I feel like it's a big shoe and a bona fide moment, but it's just not in the, I don't want to say spectrum, but it's just not one of the shoes that 95% of like the core sneakerhead audience is debating for sneaker of the year.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's one of the things I'm against. I think that core sneakerhead audience you're talking about is like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the audience. Like, to me, a real sneakerhead is somebody who wears everything and respects everything equally. Like, if Skechers had an amazing year this year, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you get off a pair of Skechers, I could do that. I've worn, listen, again, I've worn every brand.
You've worn Skechers?
Every brand. Go on my Instagram.
You wore Skechers?
Every brand, Matt. K-Swiss, Skechers, Pro-Keds, Prince.
I mean, those are
British Knights.
There's a huge difference between
British Knights. When you were 4,
no,
like me.
I have a pair. I just bought a pair of British Knights 8 months ago.
I feel like there's a huge
high top basketball.
There's a
ones
huge
from
difference
above the
between
rim.
wearing a pair of Prince tennis shoes and wearing a pair of Skechers.
How?
Because Prince is something that has some sort of cachet or cool to it.
But that's the problem. I don't take or need anything to give me cooler cachet. I give the thing cool or its cachet. That's the whole difference that I be trying to get you to see. Like, you care a lot about the brand. I don't give a fuck about these brands. I'm the one that makes them relevant, or we are the ones that make them relevant. So if like Skechers is not cool. Remember Ian Connors had a Skechers deal and people were like, oh, he's not gonna ever sell a Skechers. And then kids was wearing Skechers. And now his shoe that he just recently dropped kind of fake looked like a Skechers / Asics. So what I'm saying is this is like, if you fly and you love sneakers, you could get fly in anything. So you have to put every model or every brand in fair contention with the impact they've made. And that shoe and Vans in general, by the way, Vans is P&L is smoking everybody else. They're the only ones that don't have a bad year. Like, they've never had a bad year.
No, I
They're
feel like they
selling
did,
no matter
though,
what.
didn't they?
What?
I feel like Vans had a rough year.
When?
I don't know. We'd have to check. But
There
I
was a
remember.
thing. No, there was a whole thing where they had like burned a bunch of product. Yeah.
Oh, when was
Okay.
that? Recently?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, not a bad year.
So we may see you in the Tony Romo for Skechers one day popping
I'm
out.
in there.
He's got the Joe Montana.
I can make
There it is. Gonna
anything
be-
fly. It's me, not the brand.
I want to bring one up. Let's pivot to the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1 Low.
Sheesh.
This
That
was-
caught such a crazy secondhand steam. Like,
That
I'm not
could-
gonna lie, I did not expect. I mean,
that coulda
anything
made
he
it.
does is fire, but I didn't think for it to go that crazy that fast after he already had the bricks.
That could have made
It
it.
would have been the second one on the list.
That could have made it.
Over what? Everyone asked what I would have taken off, and I said, so what would you have taken off on the list? You taking the Yachty off? You taking the Infinite Archives off?
I feel like maybe that's one you could debate.
Which one?
I'm easy bias, right? After doing the talk, but I feel like that one to me, I'm not saying it's like a easy out,
No pun intended.
but I think
Over the Concrete Boys?
The 17.
no.
The
I think
easy,
no. I think people could make a case for the Nigel 1 Low over the Infinite Archives 17.
Not me.
I'm not saying hold
Yeah,
on.
no, I know.
Personal choice aside, because I'm not wearing the Nigel 1 Lows and I have nothing against that shoe, so it's not like I'm clamoring to have
Right.
that shoe or wear it. I'm just talking about the viewership of this show and the people who follow the Instagram and the people you debate with on sneaker, Twitter, etc. I'm just saying that I feel like that 1 Low is a sneaker that is much more in the ethos of the sneaker verse or whatever in 2025
Than a 17?
Than the 17.
I would go against it. I would substitute the Yachty for the Nigel and give Nigel
Okay.
2. Like,
Interesting.
that shoe caught a crazy steam, like, for it to come out of nowhere.
But was
it
it
did not
because
come out
of
of
the
nowhere,
4?
but
Was it because of the 4?
I don't know, but
I don't know, but I didn't think that it was for it to be a 1 Low, for it to get that type of attention. Like, you know, after it came out, it had a bunch of moments. You know, it had that Carlos Alcaraz moment at the U.S. Open when he swapped into him. There's a few other celebrity sightings and fits that we're seeing, and I just feel like you just caught a hit, and then
it just
came
shows
right back.
when you have the touch, you have the touch. Right
Yeah.
now, he has the golden touch. Because I hear what you're saying. Like I said, I was in a store getting like some GRs. I forget what it was. Oh, when I was searching for the Hirachi mid that I finally tracked down. But
Yep.
they were like, oh, I'm debating, do I get the brick by brick 4s or his Nigel
Yeah, you were
Jordan
saying-
low?
Wow.
Yeah, I told that story and I was like, damn, this picking up some steam. So
Yeah.
okay, so that
Well,
one.
sometimes you get it too that like when you have you have such a hit like the brick by brick, right? And if someone wants to get that shoe, it's like $800 in their size.
I'll
so
get
like
the other Nigel, right? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, when someone gets the brick by brick, it's like if they want to get the brick by brick, and that's like the consensus like coolest shoe of the year, and it's like $800 in your size, you're like, maybe me getting that shoe isn't a reality, but maybe the one low is a
Yeah,
reality. So
yeah.
you feel like it's not like a consolation prize, but you feel like, hey, I can't get this, so I want to get this, so I still feel like I have a bit of that brick by brick.
Next
Man.
one, Tom Sachs Mars Yard 3.0, which in Soho you're seeing those a lot.
Yeah.
You're seeing those a lot.
In the office,
In the office. What do we think? Cracking the top 10 or fine where it is at the other?
I'm cool.
No?
I'm all right.
So
I mean,
you-
listen, I just think that for what it was and what we could have expected, it wasn't like that much of a change. So I can't put it on the list when like it's just really one or two minor material switches and one or two minor add-ons. If it was a new silhouette or a new style, it might have had a fight.
but it's
a
also
better
like you
chance.
want to talk about, like that Nigel effect of you couldn't get this shoe, so you want this shoe. I mean, Tom Sachs literally done that where he's like, if you can't get this shoe, you're
Yeah,
going to get
the
the
loser
participation shoe. But even, I know these shoes go for a lot more than that, but the Mars Yard 2 went for like infinite money,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So people are like, I'll never be able to get that shoe. So
But it's like the third. He's giving you like the third chance to get the original drop.
That's
This is
what
like
I
the
mean.
Third time, so I'm like, I'm all right. Like I would have rather seen something like what's the one with the moon? What's the name of the one with the moon
Moon
boot?
shoe.
It's just called the moon shoe.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would have rather him see like go the moon shoe route and create
But-
something completely new.
But then again, it's like I can't hate on that too hard in the sense like Tom Sachs removed from it because this was the year where like, hey, undefeated 4s. It's like you never got a chance to get that shoe
Yeah.
and now you can get it. So I can't really get upset at the people who want to get the attainable version of the unattainable shoe from the past.
Yeah, the moon shoe or the overshoe they were calling it.
overshoot.
One of the other 95s too that I feel like came and went, and I'm glad because I don't like the shoe, is the reverse neon 95s, the MoMA pair. I feel like if you want to talk about cool storytelling moments, you take the original sample of Sergio Lozano, flip it, do super limited, whatever. I feel like you should have made more of it.
Yeah, I hated those.
But you make it in a hairy suede, which had nothing to do with the original sample. All you had to do, you had one job. Just make the shoe in the sketch.
You mentioned that before on past episodes.
Yeah,
that
but like to me, that's why that shoe doesn't even. That's why we forgot about it.
Yeah, I like the shoe, but I'm 95 bias, and I do like the project, but it did not come up in our top 10 discussion.
That's like an easily forgotten shoe this year, which is like, but it also kind of points to where like this is a better year in sneakers than we've had in a few years.
Yes. Yes.
Where it's like, remember last year we were just like,
Yeah, shit won't make the cut. That's what I mean.
it felt like last year we were almost like scrambling to get a top 10 together where it's like something we could agree on. And now it's like, man, there's like 10 shoes that get cut that any other year would have been in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, listen, the competition this year was because this has been a really good year in sneakers, and it was
But then all the retailers say they're like, it's a good year for hype shoes,
Right.
crap year for everything else.
Right. Yeah.
Like I remember Brian from Lapstone was saying that when the Cave Stone 4s came out, not to talk about that shoe all the time, but he had done a John Geiger release for a pair of Eagles shoes the same day at the store, and there were more people
The
camped
Geiger,
out
you said, yeah.
for the Geiger shoe than the brown Jordan 4s, which years ago people would be like, of course a brown Jordan 4 is going to have like 30 people lined up for it.
right.
What are some shoes, personally? I don't want to give mine because it would just be 95, the Fireberry, but like that would probably be on my personal list. You know, we used to do
That was your
our
sleeper-
sleeper of the year, but what would be for you?
You're saying sleeper of the year?
No, like shoe that's not on that, and not that we discussed that.
I mean, one of the shoes that I really liked and I didn't get a chance to, I didn't get at least that colorway of it, but that Kith New Balance 2010 in that like OG Kith looking colorway.
Yeah, you didn't get those?
I have the black and yellow
Okay.
and fuchsia ones, but that colorway to me.
I like that. I like those.
I don't know. You know, this year I was kind of quiet. There wasn't too many shoes that excited me this year. Sunders came out last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a shoe.
You don't have a
outside-
sleeper?
I mean, aside from that Vans, maybe there wasn't too many shoes that excited me this year that I would say is a sleeper. I'm trying to think what shoes I even bought that were like, yeah, I don't really have a sleeper.
It's funny because a lot of people, when I was doing the sleeper of the year video that
What
I
were they
did for the
saying?
What Now,
What were
they
they saying?
said you're wearing the sneaker of the year. And so not even on people's sleeper of the year, but that's like a GR, the Huarache Cool Blue comes to mind.
The sneaker that someone had asked, they said, "What's the sneaker?" Someone had tweeted. They said, "What's not your sneaker of the year, but the sneaker that you've worn most this year?" And I feel like, and not to keep saying the store's name, but that white and red Sneaker Politics Cayano 14, the Say No to Drugs one.
Yeah.
I wore that. To me, that I think that was my most worn sneaker of the year.
Mine was definitely Cortez yellow and black 95.
The shoe I've been wearing all year is the Vomero, the Vase. Like I have every colorway and I just wear them. I wear that shoe probably every day, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to think anything else. Any other big one? Bread one didn't make it.
Yeah, that shoe just. I mean, we talked about that on the last episode a lot.
Yeah.
Just feel like that shoe never really got the chance to shine, and people are kind of over one, so it's like lose situation on that one. I feel like there's a point where you could like drop Royals right now and do like 500,000 pairs, and no one would care.
Wow, that would be
Not that no one would care.
Heartbreaking.
that'd be interesting
It's
to
like
see.
fucking. That's sad.
Not
That'd
that
be
no one would
interesting to see.
care, but those pink 95s, not the ones you have, like the
A lot of those 95s, the blue and gray ones, the pink 95s,
Yeah.
but a lot of 95s. But yeah, those were ones that we see, and every time I see them, orange ones, and I'm like, these look great, but there's a bunch. There was like a time where I was like, can't buy any more kind of like grayscale with the other color 95s.
and I really wanted to like those Kith 204Ls, the orange and
Too skinny for your feet, or
too skinny for my feet.
okay. So listen, I think this will finally put a pin in the Complex Con, the sneaker of the year list. There's been weeks and probably a month of this.
And there's
At
going to
this
be
point,
something that released at Complex Con that we didn't put on the list, and people are going to be like, "Of course, this is the shoe should have been on the list." Sorry, we shot this in advance.
yes. So another
win 'em all.
disclaimer. Also, I think a lot of these shoes on the list were kind of like older models that
Yep, yep, yep,
re-released. What do we think about like some new shoes with like new technology? I know that you're big on that.
I mean, like I said, you know, I'm gonna keep kind of like waving this Vomero flag, you know, whether it's aesthetically like the Vomero, like this V5, or you know, the OG Vomeros, which are still getting great colorways. But I think the sleeper shoe that everybody's gonna be talking about and everybody's kind of already wearing is that Vomero Premium,
Okay.
that Zoom Vomero Plus Premium. I know when I was in Dallas, Derek from Sneaker Politics was telling me that Frank Cook might be working on some stuff with that shoe. We saw Tim Cook wearing a special Shishiko.
Two Cooks.
You know what I'm saying? He wore like a special edition one at the Apple conference. I've seen a few other people kind of slowly gravitating towards that shoe. And I feel like that's going to be a shoe that, similar to the Air Max 1000, it's innovation. It's a new version of something that is in line with them and kind of like an OG hit. I feel like that's going to be a sleeper. I feel like you're going to
Okay.
see a lot from that. That might have that fly knit racer
wow,
one
big shoes to
moment.
fill, but you wouldn't put it on your 10, but you think it's on the cusp of blowing up.
I just don't think it's on the 10 because it's still early
Yeah.
and it's not a lifestyle shoe that people are wearing with fits just yet
got
or
it.
figuring out how to.
NCB has them on in the office today.
Oh yeah, big NCB
and,
shoe.
and,
See what
and
I'm
literally
saying?
big because I saw him wearing the shoes and I was like wondering if I'm like, is he like close to my height now, like wearing those? Because the sole on
Give
that
you a
shoe,
whole- yeah.
it's like this,
Huge.
it's like
Oh,
this thick.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like that that's a shoe that's gonna have a moment that people aren't realizing is lit yet.
Okay.
There's two shoes in the new line. There's a plus and a premium, you know, and I think both of them are kind of just like the silhouettes and the technology. I think eventually the design or the colorways will catch up to it, and people will start wearing them more just off training. I think that's a sleeper.
Okay. One to look out for. Let's see. He stamped it early.
Yep.
We'll see. All right. So talked about shoes that almost made the list. We talked about the list in detail. To that point, next week will be the video from the Sneaker of the Year panel. Let's see how that one. We don't know.
Should be
We don't
interesting.
know, but I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. So, but let us know what you think should have made the list. Let us know what was on your bubble list. Let us know what sneakers you're feeling for 2025 as we move on to 2026. But next week, that episode, we'll see what the reaction is for people who did not go to Complex Con is. But all right, everyone, this has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. We hope everyone has a great weekend. Please like, subscribe. We will see you next week.